Hello, I'm Cosmic, and today we're going to be taking a look at indie free-to-play MMO Villagers and Heroes. The game was developed by Mad Otter Games, who were originally founded back in 2007. The free-to-play MMO has now come to Steam, along with its most recent expansion being Fury of the Stone Lord. So let's talk about gameplay. Those familiar with traditional MMOs like World of Warcraft will have no trouble jumping in straight away into this one. Character creation is simple and straightforward. Sadly, there's not much in the way of customization here, just a few sliders with very generic options. There are 4 classes to choose from, being Warrior, Wizard, Hunter and Priest. Each offer their unique ability skill trees and are good at their respective combat roles. The game's combat system is somewhat traditional, with a few curveballs along the way. You right-click an enemy to enter combat, and your character will auto-attack. Beyond this are your skills and abilities. These are activated by either clicking the hotbar icon or using the corresponding number on the keyboard or mouse. You obtain your skills and abilities in 2 ways. First, you have a set amount of class abilities that you can unlock and upgrade through leveling. Secondly, the weapons and armour that you use will also carry both active and passive skills. This means that if you change your weapons and armour, you can end up with different abilities, which can thus lead to a change in your playstyle to some degree. Questing in the game is very textbook MMO. Go to a quest giver, do a quest, hand it in and move on. That being said, I like how some of the quests tie into the game's crafting, which I'll go into in a moment. There's plenty of questing content to go through in Villagers and Heroes. In fact, there's over 1,000 quests, and the storyline of the game plus its new expansion Fury of the Stone Lord is a fun story to go through. In zones and dungeons, on top of your run-of-the-mill enemies and bosses, you also have bounty enemies. Bounty enemy locations show up on your minimap and offer great rewards. Even better, they are soloable, meaning that you don't have to miss out on the XP, gold and the loot that the bounties provide. Speaking of loot, there's plenty to be had and it's a very well designed system. Loot from enemies will contain gold, animal parts for crafting, weapons, armour and more. Those who enjoyed Diablo 2 will recognise the name Steg Hudland. Hudland was the lead designer on the most widely loved Diablo game, and he is also the designer of the item, loot drop and crafting system in Villagers and Heroes. In my opinion, the crafting system is one of the biggest draws to the game. There are 10 crafting professions: fishing, mining, bud collecting, plant lore, woodcrafting, smithing, cooking, tailoring, gardening and ranching. Gathering resources is simple and straightforward. Simply find a node, be it a mining node, fishing spot, etc. and flesh it out. Nodes also have levels, so as you level your proficiency, you'll be able to mine higher level nodes for higher level materials and rarer ones too. There's also Nomenting, which is short for Gnomish Augmentation. This is the crafting ability to combine crafted gear, Eldar gear from defeating layer bosses, and rare randomly found exotic gear. The developers didn't want to have the most powerful gear be exclusive to the endgame bosses, and they wanted to make crafting more meaningful. This allows players to combine different gear in the way of their choosing, and since half of the spells and abilities come from the gear and weapons themselves, this means that some of the most powerful and unique items can only be crafted instead of just being looted. One of the best things about crafting is not only the amount of things you're able to create, but how easy and accessible the whole system is. It's easy to use, easy to get into and easy to progress. While the game isn't a true sandbox, it does have a lot of sandbox features. Crafting feels like more of a joy than a painful grind. Also, due to the fact that the crafting is very meaningful, it means that crafting benefits you overall in the game rather than just being a separate part. Another big draw of the game is the player housing and the village system. Once a player purchases a property, they become part of the village that they purchased it in. Villages are player created, and they are only 2 types: open, where anyone can join, or guild specific. Player housing itself is very customizable, with not only the ability to customize the appearance of your house, but also the ability to garden and ranch animals in your own land. It means especially those for looking for a more immersive experience, you can live on your own little farm with crops and animals of your choice. Villages themselves are also not just plots of land, they are actually upgradable. Villages can be leveled up by members of the village with better facilities such as a forge and more. Villages can also grow and expand in size by opening up new neighbourhoods and providing more housing for more players. The developers are planning to push the village feature even further in the future by allowing villages to create their own dungeons and having village versus village warfare, whereby villagers will plunder each other's dungeons for loot, special relics and more. Now, as I've mentioned, the game is a free-to-play game, which means of course there is an in-game store. However, it is certainly far from being pay to win. The contents of the cash shop are simply cosmetic items and items that provide boosts to things such as resource gathering. There's nothing that could be really considered as pay to win in that store. That being said, the cash shop can be a little pricey, but developers are listening to the community feedback and they are implementing price reductions. There's really nothing that you need from the cash shop to progress or get enjoyment from the game, which is a very good thing in a free-to-play model. Villagers and Heroes is one of those rare games that, sure, it's not perfect, it's buggy, it's a little rough around the edges, and it's not a big budget MMO. But what it is a joy to play. It's very rare that I play an MMO and I don't feel pressured to be doing something specific, or rushing through the content. Villagers and Heroes provides a pleasurable gameplay experience. The way the crafting, player housing and village system is designed, it really promotes a sense of community in the game. Playing with other people to complete village projects and more is very fun and an enjoyable experience. It's also, as a game, it may appeal to the role-playing community as there's housing, crafting, and they do have chat bubbles. If you're an avid MMOer who's looking for hardcore PvP or PvE, frankly, you're not going to find it here. However, if you're looking for an MMO that's a fun way to spend time playing with other people, that's not too demanding on your time and energy, then this is right up your alley. The game is by no means perfect in any shape, but the developers at Mad Otter have clearly tried to create a community-focused game and have crafted the whole thing very well. I would also add that it's an MMO that is very accessible to people who haven't played MMOs or are looking for a more relaxed casual experience with a good, helpful community. And that's Villagers and Heroes. Thank you so much for watching. Do like, subscribe and leave a comment, and I will see you next time.